Good morning. I'm back with April Adventures on Thursday, April 9th, 2020. If you have your book, I want you to go grab it so that way you can follow along with me. We're on page 8, chapter 2, an egg hunt. Here we go. Bradley found a pencil and wrote another message on the paper. It said, "Mom, we're at the park. Bradley." The kids hiked down the driveway toward Center Park. Sunlight was peeking over the barn. The leaves on the tall trees were bright green. The three boys munched on their donuts as they walked. Lucy carried a basket holding the fourth donut. "Aren't you gonna eat your donut?" Brian asked Lucy. He'd finished his and was licking his fingers. "I'm saving mine for later," Lucy said. "So stop staring at it." "I wonder what the treasure will be," Nate said. Bradley laughed. "Knowing Josh, it'll be something to eat. But maybe it wasn't Josh who put the notes inside the eggs," Lucy said. "Then who did?" Brian asked. "Our parents wouldn't do it." "When I first woke up this morning, I saw someone in our room," Bradley said, "sneaking away from my bed." "Who was it?" Brian asked. Bradley shrugged. "It was too dark, and he left his room real fast." "Did he hop out of the room like a bunny?" Lucy asked. She had a smile on her lips. Bradley giggled. "No, he glided out like a shadow," he said. The kids crossed Pleasant Street and entered Center Park. The rose garden was inside the white picket fence. Most of the rose bushes had small buds on them. Some had early blossoms. The bushes were planted in a big circle around the fountain. A statue of fish stood on its tail in the fountain. The fish's open mouth spouted water. On the other side of the rose garden was a pond surrounded by the bushes and tall grass. In the middle of the pond was a small island with a tree in its center. "Hey guys, look, Lucy!" Oh, Lucy was pointing at a fat raccoon walking out of some bushes near the pond. 3 baby raccoons followed her. They all waddled past the kids and entered a grove of trees. Oh, there's that fish back there. "They're so cute," Lucy said. Just then, they heard barking. A man was walking a small white dog through the park. He carried a paper bag in one hand. He stooped over and picked up something from the ground and put it in his bag. Bradley recognized the man. "Hi, Mr. Pocket," he called out. Mr. Pocket waved. "Happy Easter," he shouted. "You too," they all called back. The kids walked through the gate into the rose garden. "Well, this is where a rose grows," Bradley said. "Where do we look?" Brian asked. There were at least 100 rose bushes growing in the rows. Between the rows was green grass. "Let's split up," said Bradley. "Each take a row and check out all the bushes." "We don't have to do that," Nate said. "Look." He was pointing at a fountain. A yellow plastic egg floated in the water. He raced towards the fountain with the others right behind him. Nate got there first. He plucked the egg out of the water. "Open it," Brian said. "It's all wet," Nate said. He wiped the egg on his sweatshirt, then pulled apart the halves. Here it goes. "There's another note," Lucy cried. Nate unfolded the note and read it to the other kids. "There are 11 more plastic eggs, and you must find the 4 real eggs to get the treasure. Signed, The Shadow." Ooh. Bradley took the note from Nate's fingers. What does he mean? The real eggs, he asked. Real must mean not plastic like this one, Nate said. He held up the two halves of the ones that they found in the fountain. He put them back together and set the egg on Lucy's basket. Brian grinned. Like fried eggs, he asked. Gee, I hope the shadow hid some ketchup. I like ketchup on my eggs. Nate laughed out loud. You crack me up. Get it? Crack me up? Let's look for the rest of the eggs, Bradley said. Center Park covered a wide area. Inside the park were the rose garden, the pond, and the band shell. The band shell was a little platform with a roof over it. In the summertime, musicians played music on the platform. People would gather on the lawn to listen. A grove of trees grew near the rose garden. Wooden benches had been placed around so people could sit and enjoy the roses. On the one side of the park were the high school playing fields. Next to the high school was a meadow. And next to the meadow was a lawn surrounding the Green Lawn Elementary School. How do we find Easter eggs in all of this? Excuse me. Brian asked. These plastic eggs are bright colors, Lucy said. We should be able to see them from far away. She had begun eating her jelly donut. Ooh, yum. Nate climbed onto one of the benches. He looked around. I don't see any, he said. Let's just start. Bradley said, we should each look in a different place. I'll go check the pond. I'll search around the trees, Lucy said. I'll stay here and look around all the roses, Brian said. Okay, I'll snoop around the band shell, Nate said. He wiggled his eyebrows up and down. Sometimes people drop money down there. And if you find any to share, you have to share. If you find any, you have to share. That's what he said. Brian said. Ha, Nate said as he raced away, carrying her basket. Lucy took off for the grove of trees. Bradley headed towards the pond. He walked through the tall grass and the reeds. He read a sign that says, please do not feed the swans. Bradley stepped carefully up to the water's edge. Last summer, he had seen a long black snake there lying on the sun. Josh had told him that the snapping turtles lived in the pond too. They came out of the water to lay their eggs. Bradley placed his feet carefully. He didn't want to step on a snake or a turtle. At the edge of the pond, Bradley parted a clump of grass. He peered down at the ground. He saw only rocks and mud and weeds. No bright plastic Easter eggs. Suddenly, Bradley froze. He held his breath. Something was hissing at him. Chapter 3, Hissing and Buzzing. So tomorrow we'll read chapter 3 together. Well, I hope you guys have an awesome Thursday. I will see you tomorrow doing the same thing. Plus, we have our meeting where you guys can show all of the cool things you've been working on for your superhero city. I cannot wait to see that. Okay, have a fun day. Bye.